Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, let me see some reactions. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Okay. All right. You are all welcome to the Academic Excellence and Entrepreneurship Summit 2022. It's a privilege to have everyone here. I'm very excited. Our viewers are also excited. As we go on in the program, a lot more people are going to be joining us on the live stream. So, welcome everyone once again. My name is Israel Alabi, and okay, a little brief background as to what led us here. So, we live in a time where there are two different opinions. We have those who believe that schooling is scam, and we have those who believe that schooling is all it takes for you to make it. But for some of us who are forward thinking individuals, we believe that why don't we stay in the middle? Because the future to us is inclusive. We can go to school and we can excel as entrepreneurs. We don't all of us don't have to be on the field creating products and ideas. We can be entrepreneurs in different businesses and even organizations and corporations. The world needs innovation and creativity today. So the purpose of this summit is to open the eyes of students and also recent graduates on how they can be in this intersection of academic excellence and entrepreneurship excellence. And I'm very excited about the caliber of speakers that we have that will be speaking to us. We have carefully done our research and found the right fit for each topic. So our topic is going to range from how to develop proper study habits and how to produce and sustain academic excellence consistently. Then we'll move into the aspect of impact, measurable impact, because the currency of our lives is not going to be measured in the number of houses or number of clothes that we have, but in the number of lives we can touch. So we are also going to be talking about impact. How can we make visible impact in the community? And another thing is our personality plays a very important role in how our life turns out. Several people are working out of their genius zone, but we are going to be learning how we can fit into our genius zone and leverage it for better success, both academically and entrepreneurially. So it's a very big privilege to have you all here. And right now, we'll be inviting our first speaker to the stage in person of Fahidat Badamusi. Thank you very much.
Fahidat Badamorsi is a first-generation student who graduated with a first class in industrial chemistry from the University of Ibadan. She is a crusader of selfless service who has great passion for volunteering. During her NYSC, she was selected as a participant of the 2020 Junior Achievement Nigeria Venturing Management Program at the Lagos Business School LBS. She was also a participant of the 2020 Harvard Business School HBS Club of the GCC Crossroad Emerging Leaders Program CELP. Fahidat, an Education USA alum and I Scholar Initiative awardee where she doubles as a volunteer, is currently a PhD student at the University of South Carolina. She enjoys working with themes focused on creating impacts in the society. Now with a great applause, let's welcome Fahidat Badamosi.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you've joined us from. It's good morning from my side. My name is Fahidat and I am very excited to be here. I just want to say a big thank you to Israel for giving me the opportunity to be part of this outstanding program. So today I'm going to be discussing study habits, developing proper study habits as students, even beyond school and all of that, just basically achieving excellence in all that we do. So I'm going to share my screen, just a few seconds. Okay, okay, trying to bring up my screen. So, can you see my presentation now? Please let me know if you can see my presentation. I believe you should be able to. Um, okay, so I'm discussing developing proper study habits. First, you see the animation on my screen. It has a lot of one, two, three, ABC moving up and up. I think there was a time in Nigeria where was it this Dorime thing where people just carry their books and then they're moving around and wishing, oh, as I'm carrying this book, can everything just be evaporating and condensing into my brain or something? So basically, if you're able to develop proper study habits, you won't have to be moving around and be wishing something just evaporates and condenses in your brain. Yeah. So first, habits. Generally, when we say habits, what are we talking about? I'll just start with this quote that says, "Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean." So you have a cup, and then you have drops of water, and in no time you see that you have milliliters, liters, and all of that. And that is how creating habits works. So if you do something, let's say, for as a female now, a lot of us are so big on having flat tummy, and then you have all your tummy goals, and then you work on your diet. So as you do it consistently, little by little, you just see those changes, even if it's just little every time, and then that is going to be like almost everlasting. So habits is something that you need to there's so many things that are involved in developing habits, and one of them is consistency. So as students, and let me just use myself as an example, because in this presentation I'm really going to be talking about me and you and all of that. So I'm currently in grad school, and to come to grad school I had to most likely write the GRE. And writing the GRE and all, a lot of people would say GRE is difficult, GRE is this, GRE is that. When I wrote the GRE finish, whenever someone comes to me, I just say GRE is not difficult. GRE just requires consistent practice. The keyword consistent. So that is what building an habit also requires. So I also read somewhere that if you do something consistently for 30 days, you don't have to, it's not like you have to like do something so big, even if it's something you do just for 30 minutes consistently for 30 days, you see it becomes part of you, and then that way you're building that habit. And habit requires determination and tenacity. My friend would say that when you have a goal and then you start working towards your goal, the moment you start, you've taken action. But the moment that you continue to do that thing, then it's your tenacity that is speaking. So habit requires you to be tenacious, and you need to be very, very determined. That is why if you're building an habit, you have to do it for yourself, not for anybody. Whenever you want to improve something about yourself, you do it because you want to be a better person for you, not for anyone, not for the world. Another thing is proper planning. So you can set up goals, you can decide that, oh, if I start reading, I can score 70, I can have A and all. But if you don't plan towards it, how do you want to study? How do you want to how many hours a day? How do you want to, where would you be? Things like that. You need to properly plan everything. So habits also requires proper planning. Keyword again, proper, not just planning. So basically, habits can be developed and they can be built over time. You just need to believe that if you feel like, a lot of us sometimes we are always, when someone says, oh, you need to do this about yourself, and just be like, well, that's who I am. And then just because you say that's who I am, you're like, I can't change, I can't do anything. But that's wrong. You can actually change. You can be better. You can develop habits. You can develop something that will improve you. So that is the way study habits work too. Study habits is not only for people that are first class brains or people that are tutor brain. I have friends that possibly in first year they started with CGPA that wasn't so good, but because they felt like they believed that, oh, they could do this, and then they started putting efforts towards the goal of finishing with the first class, and they saw improvement. So that's the thing with habits. So you don't just sit and be like, oh, that's who I am, and then I can't change myself or something. So I'll just share a few tips about developing proper study habits. And just, it's not a hard or fast rule, and this is not exhaustive, so I just picked out some that I think have pretty much worked for me over time, as an undergrad and even right now that I'm in grad school. So the first thing is to think about you. That sounds like, how is this a tip? How is thinking about me a tip to developing proper study habits? So if you look at my screen, you would see three guys, one holding a mat, one holding a science book, and the other one just playing music and all of that. Now, the other guy that is playing music, it could possibly feel like, I don't have to be reading when these people are reading. I can read another time. Maybe he has another plan. So, and that's because he knows himself, and that's just it. So that's the thing about thinking about you. You need to know yourself. You need to know whether you're a morning or a night person. You need to know whether you can do 6 hours at a stretch, or you have to do 2 hours, take a break, then do 2 hours again. You need to know whether you can actually read with music. I still don't know how people read with music, because I see a lot of people say they can study with music, but I'm wondering how. The fact that Mr. A is doing it doesn't mean it's going to work for Mr. B. Or the fact that Mr. A goes to the library to study doesn't mean Mr. B also has to go to the library every time to study. It does not, there's no add or fast. So you need to think about you. Ask yourself, why do you want to do this? Asking yourself why you want to build your study habits is going to, today you can wake up and say, okay, let's say you had a test and then the score didn't come out so fine. At the moment you get your papers, you're like, oh my god, why do I have this score? I need to do better. I need to from tomorrow I'll start going to the library. I'll be reading 5 hours a day. I'll be doing this and that. And then you do it for 1 week, and then that's the end. You just go back to factory setting. And then you're like, okay. Then you write another test. You collect your script again, and you're like, oh, I didn't do well again. Oh, I'll do this, I'll do this. You do it. And all this is possible because you do not really, really know. You've not really told yourself why you want to actually do what you're saying you will do. So if you write it down, I'm a big person on writing things down, not just putting it in your head. Write it down on a paper. Why do I want to do this? Do I want to improve my study habits so that I can get 7 points in this course? If I get 7 points in this course, what effects would it have? If I get 7 points, does that mean I will finish with a first class overall? If I get the first class overall, does that mean I'll be able to apply to grad school? If I apply to grad school, you see, it's building. When you see it beyond, okay, I'm just going to have a 7 point and then I'm just going to have a first class. When you see it beyond that, you would continue to be very determined because that is very required in building habits generally, not just your study habits. Another thing is, yeah, this is also, I think I've talked about this a bit. What would be the greatest benefit if you achieve this? So just like I just built like different steps to doing something. So you want to have 7 points. Sorry, I keep saying 7 points. I finished from UI and we use 7 points. Yeah. So you want to have 7 points. If you have 7 points, you're going to finish with the first class overall. If you have first class overall, you're going to be able to apply to grad school and be more competitive. If you go to grad school, you're going to maybe get into a 1400 company. If you get to a 1400 company, you're going to lead a successful life, all of that. And then, so when in that kind of ladder, when you look at the greatest benefit, maybe that is the successful life, but you've sort of broken it down into small pieces that you would be able to work on. So that is the thing about thinking about you. Thinking about you is also knowing what works for you. You need to you definitely have to choose yourself, not what another person is doing. You cannot do what someone else is doing. Just because it is working for that person doesn't mean it will work for you. So don't go and be doing I think it's MTN, we used to call it morning till night, when you are not actually a morning till night person, or TDB, that's till daybreak, when you're not a till daybreak person. So know what works for you. And studying does not mean you have to study for 12 hours a day. It could be just 3 hours a day, but because you do it consistently, you're going to reap a greater reward. If it's just 3 hours a day, I know these 3 hours, I am so using it and I'm going to achieve as much as possible within these 3 hours. It's going to really, really, really help. Um, Another one is to create a practical plan. So for me, I am pretty big on, like I mentioned, writing things out. So when I kind of create a plan to develop a study habit, particularly now that grad school is pretty stressful, there's so much to do and all that, I just create something like an Excel sheet, and then I sort of create sections for my day. Okay, I would start, maybe my day starts at 4 a.m. or something and then ends at 10 p.m., something like that. Maybe 4 a.m. to 5 p.m., talk to my family, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., talk to my family, 5 a.m. to this, talk to this. In that, on that list for a day, I would have a time that would be at this time to this time, study. So, and I also have something like at this time to this time, press my phone, so that I know that I have a plan. If I want to be distracted by my phone, I'll be like, no, you have a time to go and press your phone. So just focus on this. Use this 3 hours or 4 hours right now, and um, make sure you get the greatest benefit from it. So that is why practical is in red. Practical is very, very important. A practical plan, not just a plan, practical, something that can work. So you could also use to-do lists for proper study habits. Something that I used to do is whenever I go to the library, and let's say the library is open from 10 to 5 and I want to stay here from 10 to 5. So I already know what I want to read. I want to read, let's say, math, chemistry, and physics, right? And I want to read just the three courses that day. Something that I usually do that possibly even works and makes everything look easier for me is I will write out maths 10 a.m. to maybe 12 p.m. because maths is so involving. You might have to do something like so 2 hours. That 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Once it's 12 p.m., I'll move on to the next thing. Maybe I already put I could put press phone 12 p.m. to 12:15 p.m. and then I can go on to say 12:15 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. science or chemistry, read chemistry at this time. So that way, if you've dissected things, they look way, way easier. Like it doesn't look so mighty and big. But if you don't write things out, if you just have it in your head, you're just going to be like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But writing things out sometimes, I don't know, maybe it gives this level of commitment, like you're committing yourself to doing this thing. So also have study goals. So that's also with writing things out, having study goals. If I read my math from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., the goal is to cover up what we've done in class for that week. That is my study goal for that section. It's to cover up what we've studied in class. The goal would be to start preparing for a test that is 4 weeks away, or to start preparing for an exam that is coming up next week, something like that. Or it could even be I am reading this so that when the professor asks me something in class, I'm able to respond to it and not look like a dummy or something. So that's another thing with being very practical. To do list, your study goals. Sometimes when you even write this thing out, you just look at it and be like, wow. So and at the end of the day, when you check everything and then you see, oh, I did this, I did it. So I can really do this. And you're like, oh, I need to like continue this habit. I need to be able to be consistent. Another thing, avoid procrastination. Look, everybody, most of us possibly will procrastinate, even me and all of that. Like as much as possible in developing proper study habits, you want to avoid procrastinating so much. Like because procrastination is I think there's a word they use for it, is a killer of something something. So you don't procrastination is not going to help. If not, you're just going to be piling up every single thing. If you wait till 11th week to study for the exam that comes up 12th week or 13th week, and then when results come out, you'll be like, the man dashed me score. But we students were like, oh, this is the score the professor gave me, not I scored this. But it's because you were procrastinating. You didn't study on time. You didn't plan towards having a good score. You were only planning towards, okay, let me just go for the exam. Anything that come out, because it's sure hard. Me as a person, there's something I always tell myself, and I always tell myself that there is nothing that is difficult. As long as I am me and God is with me, I can achieve whatever I set my mind to. I'm just going to break it into pieces and I'm going to achieve it. So, as much as possible, you want to avoid procrastination. And lastly, you want to have an accountability partner and study buddy. So, you cannot pretty much go on this journey alone. So you need someone of like mind, someone that also wants to like develop the kind of those kind of study habits. Someone that, let's say you're supposed to go to the library right now, you know that, oh God, I don't want to go right now. If this person calls you up, you're like, oh, I gotta go. So you just pick yourself up and then go to the library. And someone that um you know that if you're slacking, they can call you to order without you even like taking it personal. You just know that, oh, this person has my best interest at heart. Another thing you can do is every time you miss out on something, you try to make up for it. So let's say you're reading 4 hours a day. That is your plan, and then you miss out on it in one day. Don't be too hard on yourself. I think that's the next thing. The next thing is don't be too hard on yourself. Just put something out that if I miss one day, this is what happens. So every time that you miss a day, let's say let me use, okay, if I miss one day, that means the next time or another time I have to make up for that time that I've missed. Or it could be maybe you missed 4 hours in one day now. You cannot have a whole 4 hours in another day. That's 8 hours. It's gonna be too much. You could now spread it and do 1 hour, spread that 4 hours into 4 other days, 1 hour for each day. So that means the other days you do 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, instead of doing all 8 hours. So that way you're keeping yourself in check, you're keeping yourself in order, you're making sure that you you're very very accountable and you're not too hard on yourself. It's not every building habits, it's not building study habits, it's not every time that you'll be able to actually study, because sometimes you just come back from the lab and you're very tired, or you come back from somewhere and then you're so exhausted, you're like, oh, I don't think I can read anything today. Just don't be too hard on yourself. And also don't forget, the most important thing in this whole thing is you knowing what works for you. Like Don't, because Mr. A is doing this, you're going to do it, and Mr. B is doing this, you're going to do that too. And so these are a few tips that I have. There are so many tips, but these ones are things that have possibly worked for me, and they're still working for me right now. So that's why I picked these ones out. Um, so I think that's my final slide. So that's all I have on developing proper study habits. I don't know if I'm supposed to take questions or something because I kind of planned for that too. So thank you very much. Again, thank you so much for having me talk about this topic, and I hope it was you learned a thing or two that would help you in your journey. Um, so thank you. Do I stop sharing? Mm, okay, stop sharing. Go back here. Okay. Um, yes. So we're supposed to take question and answers, I believe. So I kind of prepared for that in between. So that's why I worked on the timing. So with your questions, I'm happy to respond to them. Okay. Am I going to know when there are questions? Oh, in the comments. Okay. So, ooh, okay, I see a number of, yeah, so I didn't know there was a comment section. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I'm going through the comments now, and yeah, I totally agree with so many things here. Create a practical plan. Reading works best when you know what works for you. How do we select a good accountability partner? Okay, so let's say, let me just use myself as an example. Selecting an accountability partner is typically not easy, right? But of course, you have friends maybe in the same program and possibly not in the same program. So, from the conversations you have with these people, especially when you share maybe a goal that you have and then you see their reactions, what they think about it, and if they're also willing to like do the same with you, I think that person would pass for a good accountability partner. So I think that should knowing that person and knowing the kind of what if you guys are like minds, what kind of goals that the kind of goals that they have, and don't you cannot if you want to choose an accountability partner. Let's say you're a library person, you cannot choose somebody that when you say, "Oh, let's go to the library," that's when the person is like, oh well, we could actually go at this time. Let's just quickly go and hang out with this other person or something, something. No, that's not going to be your account. So you need to like know the person too and see if you guys fit in terms of goals, in terms of personality, in terms of like every other thing. Um, so the question. Okay, so if you have more questions, please you can put it in the comments. Yeah. Okay, so I don't think I see so much questions anymore, but I really hope you've learned a thing or two that would help you on your journey from all I've shared, and I look forward to hearing stories about possibly participants on this call, sharing a thing or two about how this program or how this session has helped them. And yeah, so thank you so much again, Academic and Entrepreneurship Excellence Summit team. Thank you so much, Israel, for having me on this call. So I guess it's a bye for now from me. My name is Fahidat, but I will see you again. Thank you. Okay.
Fahidat Bademossi is a first generation student who graduated with a first class in industrial chemistry from the University of Ibadan. She is a crusader of selfless service who has great passion for volunteering. During her NYSC, she was selected as a participant of the 2020 Junior Achievement Nigeria Venturing Management Program at the Lagos Business School LBS. She was also a participant of the 2020 Harvard Business School HBS Club of the GCC Crossroad Emerging Leaders Program CELP. Fahidat, an Education USA alum and iScholar Initiative awardee where she doubles as a volunteer, is currently a PhD student at the University of South Carolina. She enjoys working with themes focused on creating impacts in the society. Now with a great applause, let's welcome Fahidat Bademossi.
Oh, thank welcome guys. Good afternoon everyone. Okay. We enjoyed so much from Miss Fahidat and we're so grateful and thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, so I hope you've been learning one or two things that are going to be very helpful for you as a student. Like Mr. Israel has already said that we can be both on the other side, and yeah, it's meant to be inclusive. So now we're going to be introducing and bringing up our next speaker. Thank you as we read his profile.
Benjamin is a multiple award-winning first-class graduate of crop protection from the University of Ibadan. He has acquired several certificates in crop pest management and plant biology in 2021. He served as a lead instructor for almost a year in private homes in 2019 to 2020. Benjamin is an adjunct that has been awarded in multiple times by notable institutions, which includes but are not limited to Turkiya Baslari Scholarship, Nottingham Trent University, Wageningen University in Research, and Anne Vindenbaum Fund. Currently an Erasmus Mundus Scholar based in Germany, he serves as a life coach and academic mentor to scores of young minds being nurtured to feature in the future. Benjamin believes strongly in a lot of things. He believes in the uniqueness of purpose, in the energy of vision, and the power of mentorship, and believes in the greatness of others. Lastly, he believes in the existence of a supreme being, God. Now with the great applause, let's welcome Benjamin.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. It's a privilege to be invited to speak in this wonderful summit. I hope I will be able to contribute to the success story of one or two persons in this platform. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Academic Excellence and the Entrepreneurship team, those of you guys that made this possible. And I'm really excited by the previous speaker, Ms. Fahidat Badmosi. I really enjoyed our presentation. I think everything she had said literally applies to what I would likely want to say here. So I think I will just be a little bit motivational right now. She's really giving us a great view to the basic things that are very important to achieving excellence, primarily in your academics. And I think most of the principles she highlighted are also applicable to other facets of life. I have been told to speak about producing and maintaining excellent grades. And I think the simple answer to that is exactly all that Ms. Fahidat has said. I think that's just the simple answer. So if you probably took out a lot of time to consciously pay attention to everything she was saying, I think it's essentially enough to make a difference in your current status with respect to your grades. So I will just, as I said, I'll just be a little bit motivational, just kind of spice you up a little bit about why is it important to really have excellent grades, and what difference does it make to your life? I mean, what really is the uniqueness of producing and maintaining excellent grades? So I was just first and foremost, I don't have a slide presentation like Miss Fahidat, so I'll just speak from my mind. So I think still trying to reiterate what Miss Fahidat has said. I think that, as I said, the answer to this question of how to produce and maintain excellent grade is to build the right habits. The right habits that are very specific and very unique to producing excellent grades. Obviously, we've had us say that you need an accountability partner. That's very important. It's an important way of producing and maintaining excellent grades. You need to plan your goals, like plan your daily activities. Like, shall I say, timetable your life? You know, not necessarily that you have to be so strict with your timings, but be very intentional about the fact that every day is a step to a destination. Okay, so every day is a big time significant step to a destination, and if you miss this step, you've affected how long you stay on the journey and how long it takes you to get to the destination. Primarily, I think the focus, academically speaking, is to have a first class. I'm sure that's most likely what Miss Fahidat will also feel. Yeah, so um, and it's that's the primary focus, that's the destination, that's the goal, that's the vision. All right, and you can have a vision, but you need to know how to get that vision to become real to yourself. And obviously, there's a play out of time in getting that vision to become a reality, both for yourself and for other people. So, if you have a vision of producing the first class, of having the first class, that's a vision. Then you have to engage many principles and tools that will help you achieve that vision and make it real to you and to all other people around you. Obviously, most people will not understand your desire to have a first class. Some people might be a little bit sentimental about it and make you feel that you're just putting too much of effort and you're just being hard on yourself. I mean, so but the truth is, you know what you want, you know where you're going, you know how to get there, and you just have to do everything to get there, right? So, as I said, everything Miss Faida has said, obviously what applies to how to produce and maintain excellent grades. But in the first place, as I said, you need to have a vision, all right? And the vision should be that you want to have excellent grades, all right? If you don't have the desire, you will not be motivated. You will not be self-motivated to pursue excellent grades. For example, for me, having excellent grades were what's for me to have an excellent grade was more like satisfaction. Not really because I wanted to have a name or be famous about it, but I just wanted to satisfy. I was just always happy about having excellent grades. Like I think I'm just wired um, to get excellent grades. So if I get anything below that, it's like abnormal. All right, and so that was the motivation behind my desire to have excellent grades. So you have a vision, and the vision is to get produce excellent grades. Then you should have a motivation. You should have a motivation to sponsor your vision. Right? You must have a motivation to sponsor your vision. Then to keep the motivation continually burning, like the motivation is always it's the motivation is continually alive to you. To do that, you have to engage passion, right? You need to be passionate about what you want to achieve. Okay, you have the vision to have excellent grades. You have the motivation. For me, the motivation was just to make myself happy. For you, you might be like, okay, I want to make my parents happy, or okay, I want to I want to make a name or something. Whatever your motivation is, you must have a passion to back it up. All right, there must be a passion, and that passion is what is like the fuel. It just keeps setting your motivation ablaze. You're just always consciously desirous to keep doing everything you have to do, to keep employing and engaging all the principles Ms. Faye that has mentioned, to keep reading you're reading your books at the appropriate time, to keep being disciplined about your timing. I mean, about how you have allocated your daily activities to being disciplined, and about it. So that passion just keeps everything continually in check. All right. And then when you have the passion that is sponsoring you, or shall I say, that is fueling your motivation behind the desire to have excellent grades, then you need to make sure that your passion is teachable and humble. All right, teachable and humble, because you can be passionate about something and you're just self-centered. You're just all around the place. You don't care who wants to make you understand better certain things in your in your in your studies or something. Um, so you need to be teachable, and that's where you bring in the role of a mentor. All right, your passion is it's sometimes very aggressive. It just wants to make things happen, but you need somebody to always keep you in check. All right, and sometimes your passion can also be a little bit, down because of circumstances around you. Your passion can be like, things are quite difficult, especially finance, and that's where I'm really excited to have my other colleagues in the financial aspect or in the entrepreneurial aspect, giving a charge with respect to how best to have a very buoyant financial life, even while you're pursuing an amazing academic vision of having excellent grades. All right. So you might be at the point your passion might go to sleep or be a little bit tired and exhausted, and you need somebody to just fire you up. And that's why you need a mentor. And it's just like Miss Fahidat said, you need an accountability partner, somebody that's just always there to tell you, hey, you have a destination, there's somewhere you're going, and you can't sleep now. You can't be nonchalant now. You can't be too relaxed. You need to keep moving. Okay. So that's the idea. You need to have resource persons who are able to ensure that when your passion when your passion is exhausted, somebody can fire it up. You need a mentor as a resource person in that regard, and you need an accountability partner. And then when your passion is a little bit too aggressive and too overwhelming and just here and there all over the place, and it's almost like you're trying to make things happen yourself, then you also need a mentor. You need the accountability partner to also keep that passion in check. All right. So now that your passion is actively in fueling your motivation, and then you need to be also aware of the fact that you are on a mission. That's the journey. You're on a mission towards your vision. All right. So the consciousness of the fact that you're on a mission, just keeps you continually aware of the fact that every step I take, every decision that I make, every conversation that I have, and everything that I do must be consistent, must align, must synchronize, must be coherent with the vision. And what is the vision? To have excellent grades. All right. And I'm sure if Miss Faida had the opportunity to come and share, practical instances where she had to, engage these principles she has listed to us, and she has expounded on about to us, I'm sure some of you will be a little bit like, wow, because the thing is, at a point in time, during the day, during the week, you can get distracted. It's inevitable. You can get distracted. But the consciousness that you are on a mission, and what's the mission? You want to get excellent grades. That consciousness ensures that you engage all the principles, all the tips and guidelines and tactics that Ms. Faida has mentioned. All right. So that's where the power of your mind comes in. All right. You just keep telling yourself, you got to keep reading, you got to keep studying, you got to keep revising your books, you got to keep engaging extra resources to know more about the subject topic. You have to keep following the timetable you've set for yourself, ensuring that you are persistent and consistent with the flow at which you're reading all through the week. All right, so that's very important, very important. Be conscious, be aware that you're on a mission towards your vision. All right, that's key. Now, with all this in place, I would really want to give practical instances of my case. As I said, for me, my motivation for producing and maintaining excellent grades was just satisfaction, personal satisfaction. I really didn't care about what others felt. I didn't really care about the hypes. Obviously, and I'm sure someone like Miss Faida to understand that, when obviously you people get to realize or discover that you're really on top of the game in your class, or you're on top of the league in your class, you tend to receive some unnecessary hypes. But we didn't care much about that, because it's something satisfying, and that was the motivation. Now, based on that reality, I would say that I had some specific, unique principles. Number one, I was very conscious of my time, very conscious of my time. And I really didn't give room for anything extra that was not in my schedule, right? That's how disciplined you might have to be when it comes to pursuing a vision. I mean, pursuing that desire to have or to finish up with excellent grades. All right, that's one, be very disciplined with your time. Then I think something that also applied to me was the fact that I won't say I was very consistent with my reading, but it is universal truth. If you're consistent with something, it's naturally expected to yield proofs and results. So yeah, it's very important to be consistent with your personally laid out plan on how to achieve excellent grades. Now, three, I was very, very attentive to details in class, very attentive to details. For me, being in class was more like I was in an educative box, being taught by a modicum of knowledge, like somebody who has probably known the length and the breadth of that particular course. And I felt it was a great privilege to have my eardrums, the doors of my ears open to such amazing living epitome of knowledge. So I was very attentive because I loved to seek knowledge. I loved to know. I loved to discover facts. So I was very attentive. So I think it's something you need to also instill in your mind, that the desire to always be attentive to knowledge. Like when knowledge is being passed on, you're just attentive. You just want to get it. So that is also very, I mean, it's a very unique way of ensuring that you are preparing yourself to produce excellent grades and to keep maintaining excellent grades, being very attentive in classes, obviously within the walls of the university. And then another thing that applied to me was I think also I was very specific with the choice of friends. That's just exactly what Miss Fahidat has said. You don't have to necessarily move with everybody. That is a bitter truth. I don't even think you expect everybody to like you. So you don't have to be famous to make a difference. All right. You don't have to have everybody within your circle of relationship to achieve your goals. You just need some selected people, and people that you desire to be in your circle of influence should be people who have similar visions. They also want to have excellent grades, and they also want to achieve amazing results. There are people that are also attentive in class. There are people that are very conscious of their time as well. Even when you're telling them, "Oh, let's go have fun," and they're like, "Hey, hey, hey, no! I thought we scheduled um, this particular time for revisions," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." Those are the kind of people that just bring you out of the cloud of distractions around you, and just like they just bring that awareness to you that, hey, there's a vision ahead of you, and you have no choice but to get there. Okay, so very important. So the right people, the right league, the right association of people who can just keep motivating you. There was a time um, I was really overwhelmed with financial stress, and I was like, okay, Joshua, you need to find a way to stay up, to stay afloat financially. and I wanted to opt out of the drive, the passion, the motivation to produce excellence. I just wanted to get myself financially stable. At that point in time, I felt I was already at a kind of academic peak that even if I had to lose some pounds of grades, it wouldn't really be significantly different. Yeah, so but there was somebody I wasn't really accountable to him, but he just came to me and I told him, I just like gisted him and said, hey, I actually want to just let go of this passion to have academic excellence. For once, let me just even have the sense of failure. But he spoke to me and said, no, no, no. You may never imagine those who are looking up to you. All right. And so such people are the kind of people that just keep your vision alive to you, your vision alive to you. All right. So I think I've mentioned a few things that are very unique, and um, I would also say never underestimate the power and the potential on the inside of you. All right. There's a possibility to feel intimidated, to feel inferior, and to think that you are at the back race of such a competitive world. Nah. Stand out to be outstanding. Stand out to be outstanding. All right. You know yourself. You know what applies to you. You know your peculiarity. You know what is unique to you, your style of reading, the timing of the day that you think your reading is much more productive. Just as Miss Fahidat said, if the night works for you, fine. If the day works for you, great. Never be intimidated by what other fellow visionaries, yeah, visionaries, because obviously you can never be the only first class in the class. In many cases, you would always have people who also have the same vision of having good grades, academic excellent grades, and they might have some myriads of tactics that they are trying to engage, all right, in reaching that same similar vision of yours. Okay, never look at them, only be inspired by them. Yeah, never look at them, only be inspired by them. For example, uh, as I said, my motivation was just to make myself happy. I really didn't care about the big deal about the grades. I just wanted to make myself happy because I just love excellence. I think it's just wired in. All right. So I had people when I first started my 100 level, and I think I'll go into one particular aspect before I round up my session. When I started my 100 level, I started on the wrong note because I was a little bit traumatized by the fact that I wasn't in the place I wanted to be. And I think that's something very peculiar to most of you. All right. I wanted to study medicine, but I found myself in agriculture. And that was like an abomination because I felt that was an insult to my academic pedigree, you know. All right. So I was like, wow. So I felt ashamed. And that the shame, the shall I say personalized shame, which was all in my mind. Nobody cared whether I was ashamed about it. It was just all about me. It was just my self-imposed shame. And I got discouraged and I started on the wrong note, even though I started on the first class, but it was quite low compared to my prospect, compared to my potential. All right. So I was traumatized and I tried not to, I couldn't find my footing right earlier on. And then at a point, I was like, what's the point of moving on? But the idea was this: I had people who were not friends, really, but they were just people who had similar visions, and I could see the proof in their lives that they were outstanding. I mean, classmates, colleagues within the same level, 100 level, 200 level. I checked their GPs and I'm like, wow, this guy is having like a 98%, 95%, 90%, and Josh, you're having 70, even though you're both first class, but there's a difference. I have this ideology that you can be a first class or first class. And I'm sure that is really a testament to who Miss Fahidat is. I read her profile and I was like, wow, she's not just a first class student, she's a first class of first class. And I believe that's because she set her mind on it and she got there. So I saw these people and I was like, if they could do this, I can do it. And that was also a fuel to my motivation. All right. So sometimes you have to have some good competitive mindset. Now, what I mean by good competitive mindset is that you see people who are making it, you see people who are actually standing out in terms of academic grades. And even though they're your colleagues, you're all in the same department, the same faculty, you're not competing with them to outclass them. No. But you look at their grades, they're extremely excellent grades, and you use that as a kind of reference to motivate yourself that, oh, if this guy could have 90% and I am still within the range of the 70s and the 80s, then there must be something he's doing that I can do to get beyond 90%. So you use that to challenge yourself. I think that's another tactic. All right. So always set your eyes on people who are making the difference. For example, if Fahidat was in my class and I saw the way she was blazing through you know with top grades like that, she will motivate me. I won't compete with her, but she will motivate me to also try and stand out. Yeah, so I think that's something very useful. All right, so quickly, I'll just finally go to a session that I think is very specific to many of you guys. I know that you might not be in the program or in the course of study you desired in your childhood, and that might be a little frustrating, but let me tell you something. The world is changing. The relegated are becoming the elected. The despised courses, the courses that were termed useless or least important or least potent, I mean, the courses that were thought to have least potential are making the difference now. So wherever you are, find your place there. Fill your space there. It's very important. Find your place there, fill your space there, and try to see beyond your current circumstance. All right? Forget about the fact that you had a childhood dream that you were passionate about. And when you were a child, you had so many dreams. You wanted to be a doctor, at the same time an engineer, at the same time a nurse, at the same time a pilot, so many dreams. But I think sometimes destiny finds a way to paddle our boats into the right ocean. And all you just have to do is, now you're in the ocean, just get the right compass, get the right captain to ensure that your journey ends at the right place of destiny. So please, no matter where you are, if you're in a course, if you're studying a course that you never liked, you never desired, I never loved that Greek, but at a point in my life, 300 level, I realized, okay, I wanted to study medicine because I felt I wanted to help humans. I wanted to make life better for humans. And I felt Agri couldn't really do that. But when I got to 300 level and I said, oh, that's good. If I cannot help humans directly, I can help them by giving them food, enough food. And that was it. That was how I got integrated into that dream of, feeding the world until hunger walks away into extinction. Yeah, I have that dream. I have the desire, and I know that a lot of people do. And I hope they find their place in that soon to become history with respect to time. So as I said, Basically, I didn't really want to emphasize a lot of what Miss Fahidat has said. The habits are there for you to imbibe. Just follow them steadily, consistently, purposefully, and intentionally. Remember, success cannot be achieved by default. You have to be intentional about it, very intentional about it. You don't rise by mistake. You don't rise by mistake. You have to be intentional about your rising, very intentional. And let me tell you the truth, your dream and your vision is so unique to you to the point that if you were to tell somebody else what you really want to achieve, they will not believe it. So just believe your dream yourself until a time comes that your dream becomes a reality and everybody has no choice but to believe it. All right. So, and that those are the things that I imbibed into myself. Shall I say from the mind perspective? I think Faida has given you the practical perspective to, okay, this is how you should do it, this is how you should make it happen, this is what you should do. And that's the physical way of just employing your potentials to achieve excellent grades and all the likes. But I'm trying to say, okay, there's also the power of the mind. All right. So you have to reconfigure your mind to believe that excellent grades are possible. And for me, average is a common position. So I think you should try to be a little bit uncommon by having excellent grades. Yeah, yeah, very important. So you shouldn't settle for average because average is fake compared to your potential. Absolutely fake compared to your potential. The real potential in you has the ability to produce excellence. All you just have to do is discover your personality, align it with the various principles, part of which Ms. Faida has mentioned, engage them consistently as habits, and keep your vision alive daily before your eyes. Every day I woke up with that consciousness. Joshua, there is nothing less than a first class. Nothing less than a first class. And I think that's just the product of who I am today. So I think I will end it here and just say thank you so much for having me. If there are any questions, I think I'll be excited to receive questions from the participants. Thank you. So I will just await questions and I hope I can answer them. All right, am I expected to see the questions in the chat or something? Any questions? Okay, great question. Great question. Um, but the truth is, you're scared of leveling up. Okay. How do I answer this question? Okay. I think I should ask you, why are you scared? What are you scared about? Who are you scared about? Why are you scared about? All right. It's very important to ask yourself, why should I be scared of something that is really not real? All right. So, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of, shall I say, catching up to the standards or meeting up with the expectations? The expectations are even afraid of you. They're really afraid of the potential on the inside of you. Now, these are not just motivational stuff. They're real. They're very powerful. I mean, if you engage them, try it. Then that's one. Two, if you have a mentor, and just like Miss Fahidat said, if you have somebody that you're accountable to, or somebody that you are partnering together in achieving one particular set of goals, and you make the person understand, hey, I'm afraid. That person most likely um, is confident, very confident, and can challenge you and say, hey, why should you be afraid? You got everything on the inside of you to make this happen. You have everything on the inside of you. You have the tools, you have the energy, you have the good health, you have God, you have everything to make this excellent grades possible. So why should you be scared? And that's where the human resource, having the right people around you, come into play. You can go to them and say, oh, I'm afraid of actually meeting up. I'm scared I might not be able to achieve this. And they can challenge you all the time. Every time you feel that fear, they just keep helping you how to rise above your fears and achieve your dreams. But I also believe that you should try as much as possible to develop yourself to such a point that you can deal with every inferiority, every fear, every intimidating fear, like a fear of you thinking that is really not possible. It is. If you engage these principles are right, consistently well, sincerely, it works. Not every one of us was born brilliant. Many of us were made intelligent. Yeah, yeah, we had to build the capacity to be who we are today. And obviously, the God factor can never be neglected because it's always the foundation. So I think you should just do that, and I think you will be fine, absolutely fine. Don't get scared. You can do it. Is there any other question, please? I think my time is up, maybe so, but I'll be excited to entertain one more question. I just hope there is a question because I'm really excited to answer such questions. Okay, so I think it's time to go. Thank you so much, Mr. Israel. Thank you, every single team, members of the team that made this happen. You're making an impact beyond what you can ever imagine, and I just hope that as many participants get intentional about what they're getting from this opportunity, and we all celebrate our successes someday. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back again. That was such an awesome time with Mr. Joshua. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua. I really had my notes so full, and I hope everyone is also making up and writing our notes. All right, so we'll be welcoming our next personality this evening. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so with me, let's welcome Miss Miracle. Thank you.
Miracle is a seasoned digital marketing professional with an extensive industry knowledge in social media marketing and advertising, email marketing, Google Ads, chatbots, and analytics. She currently leads the marketing and communications team of Zertic, a startup based in the Netherlands, where she built the framework for the team, developed the strategy that would drive both the offline and online marketing, and is currently overseeing to ensure proper execution and brand representation. Over time, she has successfully developed and executed a good number of digital campaigns for different brands in over 8 industries, including professional services and luxury brands. She has achieved this through in-depth research, storytelling, and understanding customer behavior. Her goal is simple: to connect brands to their target audience. She is passionate about digital literacy in Africa, and through her annual event, Skill Fiesta has helped to kickstart the digital career of hundreds of youths. Her community, will Lead Africa, is currently partnering with Facebook and Database 360 to train SMEs on digital skills across 7 states in Nigeria. Miracle is a great writer with a specialty in personal development and has over time collated her thoughts into her first book titled There, a Professional Guide to Living Out Your Seemingly Impossible Dreams, and her second book, which earned her the Amazon best-selling author badge, The Goal Setting Blueprint. She is also your go-to person for public speaking, especially when it concerns youths and teenagers, and has graced 30-plus stages in the last 1 year, speaking on issues like volunteering, goal setting, skill acquisition, writing, people management, and has been featured in different media houses for the same reason. Now, with a great applause, let's Miracle is a seasoned digital marketing professional with an extensive industry knowledge in social media marketing and advertising, email marketing, Google Ads, chatbots, and analytics. She currently leads the marketing and communications team of Zertic, a startup based in the Netherlands, where she built the framework for the team, developed the strategy that would drive both the offline and online marketing, and is currently overseeing to ensure proper execution and brand representation. Over time, she has successfully developed and executed a good number of digital campaigns for different brands in over 8 industries, including professional services and luxury brands. She has achieved this through in-depth research, storytelling, and understanding customer behavior. Her goal is simple: to connect brands to their target audience. She is passionate about digital literacy in Africa, and through her annual event, Skill Fiesta has helped to kickstart the digital career of hundreds of youths. Her community, will Lead Africa, is currently partnering with Facebook and Database 360 to train SMEs on digital skills across 7 states in Nigeria. Miracle is a great writer with a specialty in personal development and has over time collated her thoughts into her first book titled There, a Professional Guide to Living Out Your Seemingly Impossible Dreams, and her second book, which earned her the Amazon best-selling author badge, The Goal Setting Blueprint. She is also your go-to person for public speaking, especially when it concerns youths and teenagers, and has graced 30-plus stages in the last 1 year, speaking on issues like volunteering, goal setting, skill acquisition, writing, marketing, people management, and has been featured in different media houses for the same reason. Now, with a great applause, let's.
Hi everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening to me from. Who's moderator? Can you confirm that you can hear me? Or if you're in the chat, can you? I want to be sure that someone can hear me. Oh yes, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Hi guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're listening to me from. It's a great privilege to be here. I'm beyond excited, very delighted. I love gatherings like this because if I had an opportunity to, be a part of something like this when I was a student, I believe that my life would have changed drastically. So I want to applaud the organizers of this event, for putting down so much thoughtfulness into doing this. So briefly, I'm a very long form speaker. So when I saw the time, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but let's see what's gonna happen. That's why I had to prepare a slide to sort of guide me. So can I don't know who share my slides, but can someone share my slides, please? Awesome. We're speaking on leveraging technology for personal and career development. Um, why? Next slide. Before I begin this teaching, I would love to start by sharing my story. So I read microbiology in school. I mean, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, what are you doing in tech? You read microbiology." It's a question I've heard again and again. But then I think the reality of being Nigerian hits me early, and that's one awakening I'm happy that I can do to you guys now. So when I was in school, in my 300 level, we were asked to do this thing called industrial training. I was reading microbiology, so I was excited to either go to a hospital or go to an FMCG company to work as a quality control analyst or work in the lab as a microbiologist. So when it was time for that industrial training, meanwhile I was a very intelligent person, so my results were good. I had good grades. But when it was time for that industrial training, it was so difficult. I mean, we did not have students. Hospitals did not want us. Um, they said they wanted med lab scientists. Then on the other hand, FMCGs like they don't want us. That they want food technologists. That was when it dawned on me that if I graduate and I don't have any other thing else, I was going to join the bandwagon of Nigeria and get which were unemployed. It was a very depressing but very good realization for me, if I would say. Right? So what I did was, which I would share, was during my NYC as well, I served in Jos and I was posted to a school. During that period, I was just actively, looking to learn, looking at, what I can do differently, what courses are available, and that was how I stumbled into tech. Very quick and easy to pick up, and the rest is history. So I'm here to challenge whoever it is you are, regardless of whatever it is you're doing, regardless of where you are right now. You're confused with life, you don't know what to do. Even if you're reading sociology, even if you're reading like plant science, even if you're reading some of these obsolete courses, and you're like, I genuinely know that if I'm done, I don't know what I'm going to do next. This session is for you, and I want you to, you know, I believe that this session is for you, and I want you to, embrace it with as much as you can. Ewa, can you hear me clearly now? I'm trying to speak up. Let me just confirm my audio is good. In the chat, is my audio clear? Do I need to speak louder? Can you hear me now? Ewa, better? Is this tone better? I will just proceed. I don't know if do I do. Is it better now without my headphones? Okay, I think I would prefer my headphones on. Is it better now, or do I have my headphones on? Okay, it's better now. Awesome. So I would like to walk us through various stages. I'm starting with
the definition, what's the fourth industrial revolution, tech skills every student should know how to begin your tech career. Next slide, please. So what is technology? Like, what is this brief about technology? When we are talking about, getting involved in tech, you need to do this, you need to do that. A lot of people ask themselves, what exactly is this thing called tech, and how can I, plug in? First tip I always say when I'm talking about technology is tech has no gender, and it is not all about coding. Tech has, I need you to preach it to yourself. If you had a neighbor, I'll be like, talk to your neighbor. Literally, tech has no gender. My slides have gone off. I don't know why. Tech has no gender, and it should be available. You don't need to code. People think when we speak tech, if you can code, is great. If you can code, is awesome. But that's not all there is to tech. There are various apps of tech that necessarily do not require coding. Can I have my slides back, please? Or do I share from my end? What's going on? I think I'll just try to share my screen. I don't know where my slides went. Oh. Can you guys see my screen? I wouldn't be able to know if anyone can see my screen because that tab is closed. Please, can someone there share my screen for me, please? Can I have my screen back, please? I would not be able to know because I wouldn't be able to, interact with you guys because if I share my screen, that's the only thing on my screen. I don't know if that makes sense. How do I do this? Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Thank you. They're already doing it. Okay, next slide. So first tip I like to say about technology, go up, previous slide. First thing I like to say about technology is there is no gender. It doesn't require coding. Have your hats up. It's very easy. It's the use of science in various industries to make life easier. So there's a problem. How do we use science? How do we use tools to make things easier? For example, before the advent of ACs and fans, people used to, I'm going to talk about the revolutions, but I'll just say people used to use like hand fans, to keep themselves warm and all of those stuff, right? But with technology, you no longer have to do that. You're just necessarily making lives easier for people. So I want us to approach technology with the mindset of creating a more enabling and easier environment for folks as against the techie learning how to code geeky stuff. And I hate the general conclusion that tech is for guys. Nah, there are a lot of programs right now supporting STEM, female in tech. And in fact, if you're a female looking to learn tech, you have a wider range of opportunities than men now because a lot of organizations are looking for ways to plug women in tech. Why is this so? Because if you're thinking of creating like AI tools, robots, and all of this, right, you need women to be able to, feed into that technology. So whatever technology they're creating is sort of gender balanced. If you're looking for an equal world and you're trying to make it a tech tool to, you know, help the world get better, you need two perspectives. So if only the men keep pushing it, they'll keep solving problems that they think is a problem, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. Next slide. Just establishing establishing the background as to what tech is. Can I go to the next slide, please? I have no time. Next slide. Oh, so now I'm talking about the fourth industrial revolution. What is the fourth industrial revolution? Next slide, please. Right now, a lot of developed countries are in the fifth industrial revolution already. This was actually the changing point in my career because I had to first of all start researching on the fourth industrial revolution, what jobs are relevant, and that was how I started. So, according to Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of World Economic Forum, um, the fourth industrial revolution is about bringing multiple technologies together to create a smarter experience, right? Simply put, you can say the use of emerging technologies through artificial intelligence, virtual reality, 3D printing, quantum computing, robotics, a lot of all of these things. So, using emerging technologies, using new tools to sort of solve age-long problem or solve emerging problems because new new problems for every season, right? So it's where we are now. I mean, we've seen a lot of things like robots delivering food in the Western world. We've seen a lot of things like this what's happening in the metaverse. We've seen a lot of people playing games with their VR goggles on. All of those things are where the world is heading to. I'm coming. I mean, I'm sounding gibberish, but follow me. Next slide. But these are key terms I feel like every one of you need to know before you sort of go into whatever tech career you're choosing to go. So now this is how I sort of broke down the future of work. The first industrial, because we are actually in the fifth industrial revolution, but the sake of but for the sake of third world problems, let's just assume that we're in the fourth industrial revolution. So the first industrial revolution began by, steam engine, mechanical manufacturing, when what mattered was matches instead of, people using stone to um two stones to get lights. There's now matches. There were a lot of engineering stuff, steam, there was coal. That was what mattered then in the first industrial revolution. Then we progressed to the second industrial revolution, where it was all about, electricity. Thomas Edison, what's his name, found lights. There was mass production. Things were now like powered by electricity. The third industrial revolution now moved to computing. That was when we had, I mean, from the second to the third, we started having like first and second and third generation computers, automation, a lot of automation started coming in. And now we're in the fourth industrial revolution where we're talking about cyber and physical systems, automations, Internet of Things, um, VR, AI, and a couple of all these blockchain technology and all of this amazing stuff. Next slide. So, what is the future of work? Why should you care? Next slide. It's just simply the application of technology to improve your workplace, make life easier. I mean, COVID forced a lot of employers to sort of rethink work structure. We saw a lot of people now going back and starting to work from home. A lot of automations were done. People like myself for over 2 years have not worked from an office. I've always worked from home because COVID, shifted our mentality to see that the future of work that we thought was far is now. A lot of, cloud-based what do I call it? A lot of automations, a lot of Zoom, what's it called? This cloud meeting services, a lot of all these things saw the light of day because that was what was in now. Next slide. I have less than 10 minutes, so I'll rush. Next slide. So now, how does this concern you? What kind of tech skill should I pick? What I'm saying to you is that it's either you learn tech, it's either you upskill, or you prepare to go obsolete, or you prepare to be like me, who had no, or a lot of Nigerian youth who were coming out of school and having zero clue as to what to do because, to be honest, the labor market and some of the courses that is being read in Nigerian university today is obsolete. It's no longer required. There's nothing. There's no. Anybody that is in school now reading zoology is wasting time because I mean the animals need to be protected, but you don't need to read zoology to protect an animal. Like there's some courses, even microbiology myself, right? Except you are whatever course you're learning, you're just there's a way to infuse tech in it. You're just wasting your time for now until something else takes over the world. That's the honest truth. Electrical engineering, if all you do is just fixing two wires and that's how you claim to have done, you're wasting your time. Your mate who is a Chinese, who is an 8-year-old, not even your mate, your younger whatever, who is an 8-year-old in China, is already what do I call is already building robots and you're just putting two wires and adding batteries and you're wasting time, to be honest. I'm just challenging you to start thinking globally, literally. So, what tech skills should you people be aware about? What for my research, digital marketing is very easy to pick. That's who I am. I'm a marketing and communications lead. So, digital marketing, under digital marketing, there are various aspects. There's web development, social media management, there's SEO, there's SAM, emerging technologies, there's blockchain, there's AI, there's VR, there's AR, that's augmented reality, blockchain, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and augmented reality. I'm just using key terms. Content development is already a field on its own because videos are now the thing. TikTokers are making billions. People are living well off just creating content. So there's graphic design, there's video creation, there's editing, there's animations. And these things, I'm not saying go and learn it by one roadside. Anyways, I'm coming there, learn it and learn it well. Data analytics is also a good place to learn. There's big data, business intelligence, there's data mining. On digital transformation, we have cloud services like what I was trying to remember with the Zoom, video calls, e-learning platforms, collaboration tools, and all of this. On cybersecurity or IT security, firewalls, endpoint protection, penetration testings are some of the key areas one should begin to look at. Next slide, please. So, how do you begin your tech career? Just for the want of time, it's pretty simple. What I do, and this has always been my um, advice to everyone. The tip I'm saying is research is research. You must be willing to do your research. Google is a very underrated tool. A lot of us do not know the power of Google. Research, right? Research on the future of work and some of the skills that are already shared. Go on Google, what is the future of work? What is this digital transformation? What is this fourth industrial revolution that Miracle talked about? What skills are relevant here? Those are the kind of questions you should be asking. What skills are relevant in this fourth industrial revolution? What skills are relevant there? Then identify some of the skills. When you see, okay, I've listed a couple of up, right? Go and research them. Okay, let me just go and know what web development is all about. Let me know what social media management is all about. Let me know what AI is. Let me know what VR is. If you're just looking at these things and they're looking big to you, you're like, oh my God, this is so big. I don't know where to start. Then you will never start. But if you start and you start learning, okay, what is blockchain? What is this? What is that? Do your basic research. Then identify which one resonates with you. Which one looks like what interests me? Is it VR? Is it AI? Is it data? Am I a data person? Am I this? Know the one that resonates with you, right? Then look for platforms, research on platforms that you can learn them. There's sometimes it's free, sometimes you have to pay a fee. But if you're going to pay a fee that will help, help your destiny, then why not? Like most of them are actually free. So go to Coursera, go to Udemy, go to HubSpot, go to Allison, some of all these platforms, and put that skill. If you want to learn digital marketing, just a digital marketing course. You see a lot of them on these platforms. Then again, practice, fail, and try again. When you've learned, don't just be the person that sort of learn alone. Practice, practice, implement, implement. Then seek for opportunities, to apply for internships. I started off as an intern. Don't be after the money at first. Seek to gain depth first. Research, intern, offer your services for free, become better at it. Then when you grow, you can now put a price to it. Um, Next slide. I think with this, I had to be as quick as possible. But with this, I hope you were able to pick one or two things how you can leverage technology for your personal and career development, regardless of whatever it is you're studying. So I'll take the next 5 minutes I have to take questions or whatever concerns anybody might have. So I just want to confirm my time again. Oh, I have 5 minutes. So does anyone have any questions? You're welcome. Are there any questions at this time? If you have any questions, just quickly drop it in the chat, comments. You don't have, I was too fast. Anything I said you don't get. If not, then I'm happy to take a bow. Since everybody here understood what I said, so moderator, I don't think there are any questions. But I mean, just like I said, do your research. Look at. I'm happy to share the slides if you reach out to my email or something. Look at those core skills that I shared with you. Um, you know, look for how which of them resonates with you. Look for where you can learn them. Start your career, and I promise you the rest will be history. Moderator, I think my work is done here. Thank you. Oh, okay, so there's a question. What should I do if I'm currently taking a course that is not if I'm currently taking a course that is not tech related so I can move into tech? To be honest, for every course you're taking, regardless of whatever it is, there's a way to infuse tech. There's even tech law right now for lawyers. There's robotic medicine for doctors. So whatever course you're taking, there's always a way to infuse tech. Again, it doesn't even necessarily have to be the whole course you're reading. I read microbiology. I'm practicing digital marketing and corporate communications. So again, it's just to do your research and identify what skills are available for me. Because then again, somebody might say, "Oh, what if I'm passionate about skydiving, or I'm passionate about what if I'm passionate about what do I use now? Spoken words or something." All of this passion is great, but you need a passion that can pay your bills, right? I mean, I'm not saying be money driven, but you need a passion that in the long run has the capacity of paying your bills, especially if you're going to be in Nigeria, right? So what you need to do is, even if you're doing fishery, for example, there are ways to infuse tech in fishes. But let's just say you're in Nigeria, and Nigeria, we are not ready for that yet, or you don't have the capital for that. Then look for all these tech skills that I just mentioned that are relevant going forward. Pick one of them, learn them. You don't have to go to the uni for that. Learn them, intern, practice, and begin your career from there. That will be my response to that question. Any other question? Okay, as there are no more questions, thank you so much.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for being here. Learned a lot from your session. Thank you so much. And I guess I love the fact that you started with debunking the myth that tech is not gender based. When we think about tech, we are going to the male gender and like that. And that was really amazing. Thank you for helping me debunk that. I think I should stretch my my career in that
You
this year and
should,
go
you
to the
should.
course. But then I
Really
have a
book on.
question, Ma.
Go on.
So I was going to ask, since you rightly said that tech it does not necessarily involve coding, how
Mhm.
exactly do we help ourselves find our area in this place, especially female students or
Mhm.
females? How do we get an area and build and develop this?
Okay, awesome question. If you can code, I mean, I said tech is not all about coding, but if you
Yes,
can
yeah.
learn to code, is great. I think as
Okay.
women, the first step into tech is to believe that it's not difficult. Like, it's to first of all
Okay.
see when you hear the word technology, let it just be to you that this is just like one of the courses that I've read and I've passed before and I can do. It is doable.
Mm,
I think I've interacted with a lot of females, and the problem that most of them that is sort of unique or similar across board is that they think it's difficult. Once they hear tech, they shiver. So if you can debunk that and first of all understand that it's not difficult, it is doable, first
okay.
you have conquered your first victory. The second
Mm,
thing now is to identify areas in tech that are in the
mm,
future. I just listed
mm,
some. There's social media management, digital marketing, there's
mm,
UI UX content creation. There are a lot of them that do not require coding. You just need to make your research, right?
mm,
When you identify areas that do not require coding, when you identify areas that do not require coding, or if you're person if you can code, it's just simple, just learn it. I mean, there are different languages you can learn or whatever.
mm,
Identify these areas, like I said, not the one that resonates with you. If anybody's talking about data analytics, except it's the interpretation of data, if it's like the core plus minus, I'm not even hearing because My figures are not great. I mean, I don't want to be seeing numbers all over. But if you are
Wow.
someone that loves numbers, it's a
Mm-hmm.
good
Yeah.
place to start with. If you are someone that anything that concerns writing, it throws you off. You know that you cannot be a writer or something. You look for another area. So you need to do that research for yourself. Identify which one aligns with your strength, right?
Okay.
And then you can now build from there. That initial research is what a lot of people do not want to do, but I
Mm.
mean, required to thrive today.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Ma. That's really beautiful. I'm going to implement this. Really. I think that research I would go about doing it. And I think the first thing you said actually applies to me. Like the first thing is knowing that it's not difficult. At times when I pick up this whole subject, I'm like, I don't have interest. But now hearing you say this, I'm going to debunk that myth that it's not difficult, and then I start my journey from there. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for coming on the show with us. I'm sure every person's were blessed just like I was. We found something helpful to help our career grow as a student and also get ready for the career outside world. All right, thank you, Ma. All right, so I'll bring in
Awesome.
Mr. Israel on stage so that he could give us a recap and then a closing for the day. Thank you.
Wow, it's been a value-filled afternoon. Let me see in the comment section if you have learned anything, you've gotten any value today. Let me see your emoji. Let me see your nuggets. Let me see your lesson in the comment section. I'll be watching it to see. Let's also see what you've learned. Personally, I've gained a whole lot from them, starting with Fahidat on how to build proper study habits, moving on to Joshua, who spoke about the mental components of producing academic results. Because some people
Yeah.
feel it's just the reading, but the best students, the greatest warriors, they understand that success starts from the mind. It starts from the
Mm.
mind. And Joshua spoke a lot about that. Talked about vision. You must have a vision. You must have motivation to keep you going. You must have passion, which is the fuel that's going to power your achievement of your dream and your vision. So I'm still with I can see your emojis, but let me also see the lessons that you've learned. So Joshua spoke about getting into a positive competitive mind frame. So when you see others that are succeeding, you are not jealous of them. You are inspired by what they've done, and you feel you can do the same. So that's another thing I'll be taking away. And Miracle did so wonderfully. You know, a lot of people think once they hear tech, they feel it's too much for them. They can never do tech. But the reality is that even the course you are doing today, you were not the one who created it, right? So that means you have the potential of learning something new. So I'm sure that we are going to take lessons from this session and start thinking, how can I enter into tech? She mentioned content creation. There are a lot of platforms today for content creation. We have audio content, text content, video content. Can you enter into this space? Digital marketing, right? Even if you can code, if you are good in mathematics and statistics, you can do data analytics. You can enter into data science and artificial intelligence. So the field is broad, regardless of what your passion is. There's business intelligence. You think, oh, I like business. There's business intelligence. You like medicine. She mentioned robotic medicine. So free your mind, open your mind so that you can start thinking about possibilities. Start thinking about addition. What can you add to your life?
Yes.
Don't say, oh, I'm not a science
Mm-hmm.
student. Because I'm not a science student, I can't do this. No, whether you are science or art, it doesn't matter in today's world. What matters is who you are, what you have, what you are constantly
Mm.
learning, and what we are putting out into the world. And tomorrow, we are going to be learning a whole lot about our personality, our skills, how we can leverage our personality, how we can build impact. Because in the end, what matters is the impact you're able to make, is the lives you're able to touch. So tomorrow, get ready to be transformed as well, and I'm sure you will enjoy yourself at the end of the day. So thank you very much for being in this session since when we started. We are grateful to have each one here, and see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.